Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if probable cause exists for those charges, and then we'll set your conditions of pretrial release. That is your bail or your bond. Probable cause, by the way, simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person that committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me today, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. Most of you have had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or if there should be other additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to be represented by an attorney from the Public Defender's Office, I'll gladly appoint an attorney to represent you today. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear, affirm, tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Megan Borchers. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
2/12/86.
Megan, we have 4 charges today. I've got possession of methamphetamine, possession of controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public attorney.
I'll appoint the PD. State what can you tell me?
Showing a felony petty theft, adjudication of guilt, 2018. A grand theft, disposition guilty, 2018. Petty theft, 2018, disposition guilty, so there was multiple counts. Disposition guilty for petty theft in 2013. A petty theft in 2011, adjudication withheld. Probation violation reference, Polk County in 09. No motor vehicle registration, 08, disposition guilty. Attached tag, license plate not assigned, and driving with license suspended, disposition guilty in Lakeland in 2008. Fraud insufficient funds, disposition guilty at 06. That's what I'm showing you on there.
Megan, I have an address for you on Canfield Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live now?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
Just a couple months with my grandfather.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
How long has it been since you worked?
Probably 3 years.
Okay. All right. On the meth and the controlled substance, I'll set your bond at $1,000. On the marijuana and the paraphernalia, $500 each. That's a total of $3,000. I'm going to have you back in court. Well, this date is not right. It says the 22nd of December, 2019.
January.
22nd of January?
Yes.
Okay. On the 22nd of January, if you get out, Megan, very important that you contact the Public Defender's Office right away, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. You bet. Jessica Rook. Afternoon, Jessica. What's your date of birth?
3/19/89.
Jessica, the charge is driving under the influence. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll appoint the PD, State.
Your Honor, I'm just showing a Sumter County fraud impersonation that looks like a probation sentence was input, and other than that, Your Honor, I don't see anything else.
How long ago was that?
2013.
Okay. Jessica, I have an address for you on Candia Street in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
That's my mom's address.
Okay. Is that where you live?
No, sir.
Where do you live?
15258 Panola Avenue, Nobleton, Florida.
Okay, and how long have you been living there?
A little under a year.
You have a job these days?
I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, well that's a job. How many kids you got?
One.
Okay. To set your bond at $500, I'll have you back in court on the 30th of January. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mandy Sproul? Want to miss what's your date of birth?
12275.
Mandy, I have 4 charges this morning of a felony retail theft, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and false information to a law enforcement officer. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself and hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, state.
Your Honor, I'm showing that she's a multi-source offender. I'm showing Virginia history, 2014 petty theft, 2014 duelist and refusal, 2014 marijuana possession, and 11 prescription by fraud. And then as well as there's Florida history, going back to 2003, fraudulent use of credit card disposition guilty in 03, resisting law enforcement officer, 2002 adjudication withheld, Citrus County probation violation reference, a grand theft adjudication withheld in 95 on a Pasco, grand theft disposition guilty in 95 on Ocala.
Okay, we're in the 90s. We're good. Mandy, I got an address for you on Drayton Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
That's correct.
How long have you been there?
About a year.
You have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
Home health care.
Okay. On the theft, I'm going to set your bond at $2,000. On the meth at $2,000. On the paraphernalia and the false name, $500 each. That's going to be a total of $5,000. I'll have you back in court on the 22nd of January. Very important that you contact the public defender's office if you get out, all right? Thank you. Deborah Tripp. Afternoon, Ms. Tripp. What's your date of birth?
10/13/70.
Ms. Tripp, I have 4 charges for you this morning. I got possession of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, possession of controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender? I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
A disposition guilty in 2018 for possession of paraphernalia. Hillsborough probation violation reference in 2015, probation violations on a Pasco in 14. In other issue check, 2001 pretrial diversion. And that's all I'm showing, Your Honor.
All right, Deborah, I have an address for you on Peace Boulevard in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
I've been here for over 30 years.
And do you have a job these days?
I did have a job, but my mom got ill with cancer, so I couldn't take care of my mom.
All right. Set the bond on the meth, the coke, and the controlled substance at $1,000 each. On the paraphernalia at $500. That's a total of $3,500. I'm going to have you back in court on the 22nd of January. Very important that you go see the PD when you get out. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Benjamin Bergenstein.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, Benjamin. What's your date of birth?
7/31/95.
Benjamin, you are here on a warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for 1 count of retail theft. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, hire
Yes, sir.
private counsel, excuse me, or would you like the public defender?
I represent myself.
Okay, state, what can you tell me?
Showing a marijuana possession in 2017, adjudication withheld. Sale of marijuana in 2017, adjudication withheld. Pinellas County failure to appear. Trespass adjudication withheld in 2013 out of Pinellas County. Trespass in 2013 out of Pinellas County, adjudication withheld. A burglary adjudication withheld in 2013 out of Pinellas County. Pretrial diversion out of Pinellas County in 2012 for a grand theft.
Okay. And Benjamin, you've been staying with somebody, you're living outdoors, what's been going on?
Transient.
Okay.
Living in a tent.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll set your bond at $500, Benjamin. I'm going to have you back in court on the 30th of January, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. John Bethel?
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
March 30th, 1951.
John, you're here on a charge of battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I think I'm going to hire a private counsel.
Very good.
Hearsay.
State, what can you tell me?
This is the only hits for your honor.
All right. And John, I have an address for you in Westerville, Ohio. Is that where you live?
I'm a snowbird. My address here is 16246 Burke Ridge Boulevard, Brooksville, Florida.
Okay.
And then I live in the summer in Westerville, my house in Westerville.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
I'm on disability, retired,
Okay.
and I'm a veteran.
Okay.
I was the one who called the police.
Well, that's not uncommon.
I know.
All right. So what I'm going to do, John, is I'm going to set your bond at $100. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Diana Page. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact her through any social media. Don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact, so if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she is not interested in pursuing this matter, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I've got to hold you up until 4 o'clock this afternoon so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. It looks like this incident allegedly happened at your place in Brookridge. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And is Diana staying there right now?
Yeah. And I was supposed to drive her to the airport tomorrow.
Okay. So here's the deal. As long as she's there, you have to be someplace else, okay? Somebody else will have to drive her to the airport. That's just the nature of these kind of charges here in Florida. If you need to go by before she leaves, you can go back one time to collect your things that you need for wherever you're going to be until she leaves. But to do that, you got to contact the sheriff's office first. Then they'll meet you there with a deputy who will stand by while you get your things and get going where you're going. I'll have you back January 30th. Very important when you speak to your lawyer that you tell him about that court date, okay?
January 30th? Okay.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, John.
That's fine.
Joseph Mazuka. Sorry.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Morning, Mr. Mazuka, or afternoon. What's your date of birth?
12/14/1960.
Charge this afternoon is felony domestic battery by strangulation. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defendant, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State, what can you tell me?
Disposition guilty in 2017 for paraphernalia. Resist without violence. Adjudication of guilt 2015 on Hernando. Disposition guilty 13 for grand theft. 2 counts where prison sentence of 112 days was served in Hernando County. Probation violation in Hernando for 09. Violation of injunction, disposition guilty 2005 on Hernando County, and disposition guilty in 05 for assault. Grand theft, disposition guilty in 05, Hernando County. Marijuana possession in 95, adjudication withheld.
Okay. Joe, I have an address here on Rio Circle in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Excuse me, sir?
Do you live on Rio Circle in Spring Hill?
No, that's not my address. I live at Brookhaven at Bridgewater Apartments.
Okay, what's your address?
4821 Bridgewater Club Loop, Spring Hill, Florida, 34608.
How long have you lived there?
I've been living there with my daughter since I got out of prison and before I went to prison.
Okay.
5 years.
There you go. Do you have a job
5
these
years,
days?
No, I'm disabled, sir.
Okay. Set the bond at $2,500. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Katie White. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Also have to hold you up until 4 p.m., so if she wants to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. You'll be back in court on the 22nd of January. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dale Thomas. Afternoon, Mr. Thomas. What's your date of birth?
Your Honor, sir.
Date of birth?
7/11, sir, 57.
Mr. Thomas, your charge also is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Your Honor, please, PD, sir.
I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Yes,
State
sir.
what he's telling.
I'm showing that he is a multi-source offender. I'm showing a battery with an adjudication in 2003 out of Virginia. Showing Georgia history that consists of a driving with license suspended, adjudication in guilt 94. As well as Florida history, a dropped, kidnap, false imprisonment, and an aggravated battery in 2017. And that is all I'm showing, Your Honor.
Okay. Dale, looks like you've been living outdoors lately. Is that correct?
Aye, sir.
All right. And you have a job these days?
No, sir, I'm retired. RSDI, sir.
Okay. Set your bond at $1,000. Condition is that you have no contact with Ms. Longnecker. Did you hear me explain no contact?
Yes, sir, I have.
And did you understand it?
Yes, sir, I
Very
do,
good.
sir.
Also have to hold you up until 4 p.m. So if she wants to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. You'll be back in court on January 30th. If you get out, it's very important that you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
Aye, sir, yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Paul Silva?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Silva, what's your date of birth?
8/31/1975.
Mr. Silva, you're here in a warrant I signed. I found probable cause for a violation of probation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I'll represent myself, sir.
And the bond on that, Paul, is no bond. You sure you want to represent yourself? Because you won't be getting out today.
Yeah.
I just want to know the nature of, did they revoke me because of not showing at my, because I was in the hospital.
Well, apparently there was an issue with fines and court costs and not completing your batter's intervention program.
Yeah, but I'm still on probation for another 6 months.
He doesn't have enough time to complete the batter's intervention. He never registered.
Right, you're right. You're done because batter's intervention takes a minimum of 29 weeks. If you are down to 26 weeks or less, then there's not enough time to complete it because you never started it. So that's
Well, that wasn't explained to me, sir.
Paul, if you'd like, I can appoint you a lawyer so they can discuss this with you and see if there's some other arrangement that can get made. But if you don't have a lawyer, you're going to sit there until you come back to court, which is January 30th, and we're not going to be any further along than we are today.
Okay. Can you give me a private attorney, please?
Public defender?
Public defender.
That's an
Yes,
awesome. I'll appoint the public defender. I'm happy to do that. The bond on the warrant's going to stay no bond. You'll be back to see me on January 30th, but the PD will come see you before that, and we'll see if there's any other solution for you, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Justin Cameron? Justin, what's your date of birth?
1/25/1990.
Justin, the charge is loitering. There's probable cause for that charge. State, does he have any other significant history?
Your Honor, I'm just showing a Hillsborough grand theft of a motor vehicle and possession of cocaine and possession of controlled substance with no disposition from November of 2018, so I'm guessing it's only been out of Hillsborough.
Oh, you got pending charges in Hillsborough County, Justin?
I'm going through the DPTI program.
Okay. Are you in the program now?
Yes, I've enrolled. My first day is Wednesday.
Okay. Okay. And where do you live right now? Valrico?
Yeah, I'm living with my stepmother and my father.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Up until my last arrest, I was working for FEMA in the Panhandle, doing recovery work from the hurricane. I haven't gone back to work since
the issue in Hillsborough County.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to? There is probable cause for the charge. You want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
Appoint the public defender. Do your folks know where you are this morning or this afternoon?
No, they don't.
Okay. All right. Tell you what, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. So you're going to get out today. You're going to be back in front of me on the 30th of January.
Yes, Your Honor.
Certainly, I expect you to have contact with the public defender. I also expect to hear when I see you in January that that you've gotten going on that program in Hillsborough and things are going well, okay? Because this, quite frankly, even this arrest might cause you a problem down there, but I want to find out what the status is before we do anything with this case, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. January 30th, make sure you contact the PD when you get out. Anthony McKinney. Afternoon, Anthony. What's your date of birth?
11/17/91.
Anthony, I've got two charges today. I got a possession of oxycodone, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll point the PD and state what can you tell me?
I'm showing a 2000. Oh, he's a multi-source offender. I see a 2016 wrongful use of cocaine, Virginia, and a grand theft in Hillsborough that looks to be open. Pretrial diversion for possession of paraphernalia in 2018 out of Hernando County. Possession of controlled substance, pretrial intervention in 2018 out of Hernando County.
All right, Anthony, I've got an address for you on Platinum Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
10 years, sir.
All right. You have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I'm a cook, sir.
Where do you cook?
Get hooked.
Say again?
Get hooked in Hudson.
Right.
Hudson
I got you the second time. Okay. All right, on the oxy, I'll set a bond of 1,000. On the paraphernalia, 500. Your total is 1,500. I'll have you back on the 16th of January. I think they told you the 22nd. It'll be the 16th. If you get out, make sure you contact the PD right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Keister. Afternoon, Michael. What's your date of birth?
8/10/67.
Michael, I've got 3 charges today: felony domestic battery by strangulation, witness tampering, and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public.
I'll appoint the
public,
PD.
defender. Yeah.
Okay, state, what can you tell me?
I'm showing a Indiana battery resulting in bodily injury adjudication of guilt in 2005, a DUI adjudication of guilt in 2009, 2013 resisting law enforcement adjudication of guilt, in 2013 criminal mischief adjudication of guilt in 2015, and all of this history is out of Indiana.
Right. That's it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Michael, I have an address for you in North Manchester, Indiana. Is that where you live?
No, sir. I live on Crystal River.
Okay. What's
10985 West Tidewater Circle.
Okay. And how long have you lived there?
Since April of this year, because I'm a union painter and I'm working on that power plant out there in Crystal River.
Okay. Do you still have a home in Indiana?
No, sir.
Okay. So you're a full-time resident of Florida now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your union, that's your painting, that's your job?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On the felony domestic battery and the witness tampering, we're going to set a bond of $2,500 each. On the resisting, $1,000. That's a total of $6,000. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Pamela Kuffler. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that?
Yes.
And just so we're clear, does Miss Kuffler live with you in Crystal River?
No, sir. I live with my ex-wife.
Right, gotcha. I got to hold you till 4 o'clock this afternoon so that if she wanted to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. And then you'll be back in court on January 22nd. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
Right. I'm not getting out, so.
Okay, all right. They'll come see you if you don't get out, Michael. All right, Dino Crescenzo.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, Dino. What's your date of birth?
8673, sir.
All right. 3 charges today. I've got assault on a law enforcement officer resisting without violence and false report. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
It looks like he recently just got out of prison just over 2 weeks ago. Exploitation of elderly, disposition guilty in 2004. Disposition guilty in false accident report, 04, adjudication of guilt. HTO, driving with license suspended, 04, adjudication of guilt. Disposition guilty in 04 for obstruct without violence. Disposition guilty for burglary in 04, multiple counts of burglary. To Willis with 2 prior convictions, adjudication of guilt in 04. Disposition guilty of trespass in 2000. Robbery, disposition guilty in 2000. Uttering a forged check, 2000. Disposition guilty. Forgery of a check, 2000. Disposition guilty. Possession of cocaine, multiple counts, adjudication of guilt, as well as a trespass out of Hernando County in 2000. Petty theft, disposition guilty in 2000, as well as a resisting a merchant, disposition guilty out of Largo. Retail theft, disposition guilty, 98. Battery,
Okay,
adjudication.
that's good. We're in the last century now. Dino, I got an address for you on Josh Whitney Way in Brooksville. Is that where you're living now?
Yes, sir.
And that's just for the last couple of weeks since you got out?
Yes, sir. That's my mother and father's home.
Okay. Is your brother Anthony?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's why I started to work for my younger brother.
Okay. And so you went to work for him?
Well, I just begun. I was working between the New York Jewelers with my father when I first got out.
Right.
The first week, and then I just now, day after the New Year's, I was supposed to start working for John's by John's with my younger brother.
Okay.
That's my brother.
Okay.
And take my driver's course for the
Right.
DUIs, whatever.
Okay. Wow. All right.
This is kind of a misunderstanding.
Go.
I called it.
Well, it's a bad day, Dino. There's no doubt about that. Tell you what, I'll set your bond at $500 on each count. That's a total of $1,500. You're going to be back in front of me on the 30th of January. You need to see the PD when you get out, and no more bad days between now and then, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sir.
Very good. January 30th. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Jed, you got anybody else for me?
No, sir, we have nothing.
All right. Happy New Year, folks.